Okay, so I was planning on talking about just some small minor follow-ups on Tuesday, and then basically going forward with kind of picking things off the list of things to do in terms of either CI or ship ready. But apparently we're not. I don't really know if that's something that's okay to speak about because we haven't adjusted the agenda. So
I think we can do it on the fly. But it would be useful to just review checkpoint. Even though I think we all know where we are, I think it's useful to do a quick checkpoint on our past sprint as a matter of review and documentation. Get that documented. We can discuss process changes that we want, and then we can dive into the Trello board and forward looking. Right? I mean, it's just the process of running the meeting that I'd like to keep because it's very consistent with our general process guidelines. So if it's fast, if we
sure.
do it fast, we'll do it fast.
Why don't you take it away with the review?
Okay, hold on a second because I'm trying to get Surya in, and then I will do it. Because he hasn't been able to join on the audio.
He's not been able to do what?
Surya from India has not been able to join on the audio because he can't use sync in. So I'm conferencing in the way I normally do. Hold on just a moment. I've been back channeling with him. All right, much simpler. All right. Although I think he left. Let's see. He's offline. All right. So in the last, I can move things around in your screen. That's cool. I can at least move the window. Okay, so in the last sprint, we met at the OpenStack, and we agreed to a lot of process changes. And those process changes included using the Trello board to track joint efforts on Crowbar development. Crowbar, right. I need to stop calling it Crowbar 2 because it's become just Crowbar. We've agreed to use the GitHub defects. We agreed to set up a shared build infrastructure. Right. We agreed on the ship ready list. Let's see. And then from a coding perspective in Crowbar 2, yes, thank you. The testing framework has been integrated into the dev tool, including BDD and chef spec, which is good. And actually, I think the current state is that you can boot and discover nodes. So right now on my system, I can go in and actually boot discover nodes and bring up multiple nodes in the system for this, which is pretty good. Trying to think. My team's been working a lot on the BDD tool and getting the auth model represented in there, but the auth model's been actually, and we resolved issues with the auth model. The auth model, it looks like this. It uses devise for HTML and JSON. This is basically the user space. It uses digest for JSON requests. Which means that the way this gets translated is that basically all this is so the way this gets translated is that devise can be used for anything, but digest predominantly for API only. So if you're only using the API, then digest will work. If you're planning to use HTML rendering, then you're going to need to use the devise logins. Cool. And then the unit test and the BDD test framework was updated to do that. The other thing about testing is that Greg has been investing a lot in RSpec, and so there's a lot of RSpec tests that have been coming down the line, and in planning. BDD training. Adam, do you have any items you want to contribute to this list?
Yeah, I'm just adding a few.
Yeah, I see you typing in the background on notes, which I appreciate. That's really helpful. Oh, and we started discussing CMDB abstraction. Okay. Cool. Oh, actually, it's worth noting that. Thank you. One of the other things is we pulled the Folsom bar clamps into Crowbar trunk. I don't think the pull from source has been pull from source hasn't been ported yet, but it's pending.
Don't forget the rectified document.
The what documents?
The document that actually lays out what you have mentioned. Like agreements on MVP, on ship ready and all that kind of crap.
Yeah, let me, I have it somewhere. I'll link it in. It's this one. Okay, so that is, ship ready list. There you go.
That's actually not the one, but that's fine.
It's not? Which one is it?
Never mind. It's fine.
Huh. Okay. I'll update it when if you can point it to the right one.
I'll fix it.
Thank you. It got very fuzzy for me at the end of that. All right, because I missed the last part of it. Okay. I'm sure there's something else I'm forgetting, but I don't know what it is.
Please press any key to remain in conference.
All that work to set up the bridge. Surya dropped off. Oh well. That's okay. All right, I think that's pretty good. Set items. Oh, there's that's a process item. Okay. Yeah, that was Adam's typing that he and Victor met to resolve remaining issues with the dev tool. Yeah, and for Crowbar 1X, Victor actually did tagged it. Cool. All right, I'm ready to move into process stuff.
Okay, that's cool.
Unless there's other items from Adam.
I'll just keep entering them as I think of them.
That's cool.
I mean, okay, so just going forward. No, never mind. It's fine. Yeah, so I guess the next agenda item would be 10 minutes on process check, right?
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
go ahead. I mean, so process-wise, as you guys have seen, I actually updated the calendar for the meetings. So let me go and pull this up really quick here so we can see this. The calendar, as you can see, is hosted under. The calendar, as you can see, is hosted under Google Calendar. It's linked off of this page right here. I've removed all the other notes around this, so the kind of, record is the calendar. So if you go here, you'll see that we moved from a weekly to a twice weekly calendar setup. So that basically means that the next time this meeting will be held is going to be on the 8th of November, and the design meeting will be held on the 6th of November. If there are any changes to the invites, if people would like to get added to the invites, then feel free to go and let me know. I have the team on these invites and some other people. Adam, I could add you if you'd like me to, or you can just go there and add it as you need it. But just so everybody is aware, we've now moved from a weekly cadence to match up with the sprints that we're currently having onto a 2-weekly cadence.
So, Simon, would it make sense just to spread out the meeting load to do the design meetings in the off weeks? It's just a suggestion that I can make arguments either way. So that'll
Right.
make sure if we have an item, we have a midweek discussion. We can have a midweek discussion on it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I don't feel strongly one way or another. Is there anybody else that has that feels strongly one way or another?
I'm also tempted to.
I'll take that as a silence.
Wait, I'm also tempted to, since we're changing it, I'm tempted to find a time that doesn't conflict with two other meetings that I have on a regular schedule at that time. It was
Right.
I had to do it that day because it was very
Does that
time
mean-
constrained.
Rob,
Yo.
I would have asked you. Does that mean you feel strongly
About what?
to move to about your suggestion of moving it? Right. I don't feel strongly one way or another.
I
don't
do.
think anybody
I
else
would.
does on the phone. If you do, then that's fine. We can adjust it.
If you're asking me, yes, I would prefer to move it to 10 a.m. on Wednesdays than 10 a.m. on Tuesdays, and then do it on the off weeks.
We have when you say 10 a.m. do you mean UTC or what?
No, sorry. That would be 4 p.m. UTC. We're -6, so it's the same time as we've been doing it. It just is on Wednesdays instead of Tuesdays.
Okay. I'm trying to do the calculations in my head. That's odd. One of my hopes for using the Google Calendar was that it would mean I wouldn't have to do time zone calculations.
Actually, I'll fix that. They have now a feature where you can actually show mode. Into UTC period. I think nobody really thinks in CT, in Central Time, so I'll switch over the calendar to match up with the UTC time zone, which, by the way, everybody could be using anyway.
Well, I think the problem is, I guess in terms of, I think the time is actually entered correctly because what I've done is I've actually added it as a sort of remote calendar to my Google Calendar, which is an aggregation of all my various calendars, and it appears correctly on that for me. But when I follow the bit.ly and link, and it just shows it as a kind of standalone, no frills attached rendering, then I think in that it shows it as the whatever your local time zone that the calendar was created is in, or something like that.
That makes sense.
I guess so I just need to, I guess that means we just need to make sure that anyone who uses this, rather than looking at the time, it's at the bottom left, I just noticed.
Please press any key to remain in conference.
What is
Yeah.
this?
That's my bridge that's connected over. I'm
You
just gonna drop it.
Okay.
Yes, it says shown in Central Time, so that explains it.
Yeah, I'll fix the issues with the time zones.
It's okay. I just didn't realise that that's what was happening. So what? So I'm sorry, I'm getting confused now. So what's the proposal we're discussing to move?
I'm suggesting we move the design meetings to alternate Wednesdays from the sprint boundaries. At the same time we've been doing them.
Yeah, that's fine by me, and I think it's probably with the rest of the team. I can't think of any of the only catch is that in Germany that would mean 5 p.m. to 6 p.m., which some people leave the office around towards within that hour.
Right.
I don't know whether that's, they regularly leave before
So
6 p.m.
Adam, just a quick question. Why don't you go check with the team just to make sure that we're aligned? And
Yeah, okay.
get back to me, get back to us, and just let us know if this works or not.
I've got some West Coast participants who want to join, and a 6 a.m. start for them is too early. So I'd like to not move it earlier.
Yeah, so that's the latest hourly slot that would work for Germany, as far as I'm aware. So, and it's fine by me. So that sounds like the sweet spot.
Okay, but please check, and then why don't we tentatively do the next Wednesday? And
So how about, okay, sorry. How about we leave it the way it is right now until Adam has checked with his team whether or not this works?
I think that's a good idea. Let's do that. We'll leave it on Tuesdays, and then we'll see. Alternate Tuesdays, right? We've agreed it's once per sprint. Good call, Simon.
Okay, and I think Christoph will be back in action on next Monday, hopefully. So I should be able to check with him then. I mean, he's already, as you saw, sent that email saying, that we can probably align sprints, but we can confirm that when he's back.
All right. So as far as the process is concerned, I think that would match up. Again, Adam, just see if this works the Wednesday time frame, and then we'll adjust accordingly based on Rob's schedule. I've made some efforts, so I'll send you this over. I was just, as we said, we would make an effort to kind of match up the titling and match the descriptions with the docs. That way the doc is live. People can go and click on it and so on and so forth. So, we don't have to do this now by any means. I think, Adam, you've set up the Trello board, so if you just go through the pointers that I've created here and take a look at that, that would be helpful. And then I'll adjust it accordingly. So that's item follow-up from last week. Then if there is nothing else that anybody wants to bring up in terms of processy, follow-up-y kind of things, then I guess we could kind of move through these items or cards on the Trello board.
The only small item is, Adam, there was a request from our team to do another BDD training. So we'll be probably doing a 2-hour session. It'll be recorded, but we can throw that in the Google Calendar and give you a heads up if you want people to participate.
Okay, awesome.
Also, actually, Adam, for process, is there a team email that you guys use as well that I can just go and start adding to the invites, and people can put these on the invites as they move along? I mean, that's really the problem that you're having. If I would have an email for you, I could just add you to the invites, and you would receive any emails that would automatically fix them in your calendar.
Yeah, that would assume we had a corporate calendar system that actually worked.
What are you using, Zimbra or Outlook?
Group-wise.
Of course.
Being highly unprofessional. Being highly unprofessional by bitching about it. Anyway, we do have a mailing list, but to be honest, the audience is kind of too wide scope for this. So I think the Google Calendar is fine, and in fact, all the people who are involved actively in our team in Crowbar or care about Crowbar to any extent should already be on the Crowbar list. So there's no, So I think that's a good resolution for that.
I like it. Seems true for us.
All right. So, do we want to go and move some cards around, or add anything to these?
Yeah. Is there a way to take a snapshot of the Trello board?
like a
export it?
screenshot of it? You mean like a screenshot?
Yeah, no, I was thinking like an export. I think there is. Keep going, Simon, and I'll find it.
No, actually,
There it is. I found it.
You and Adam talked about. Okay. So, is there any? Are we? What's the plan going forward here in the next week or so? I also, by the way, I intend on sorting them based on the priorities that we perfectly to. So they're going to be sorted by. They're sorted in my document already, but I intend on sorting the cards based on HH, LH, meaning low priority for Dell, high priority for SUSE, and then HL, high priority for Dell, low priority for SUSE, and then the rest of them, which should make it a little easier to work off the stack.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I mean, occasionally there might be conflicts of stuff that's high priority for you but low for us, or vice versa. But I'm
prioritizing your needs, actually. So I would be sorting it HH, high, then low, high, meaning low for Dell, like for SUSE, and then high, low, high for Dell, like for SUSE, and then the rest.
Okay, great. And then there's also, I mean, we have the colors that kind of representing that to some extent are representative of what is being prioritized by.
Good point.
I mean, in so much as that if it's colored green, then that's most likely something that we care about because we're leading, and likewise for you with blue. But
actually,
so
maybe actually that's a. Maybe I can incorporate the tabs for the. We'll just put the HHs up, and then we follow the LHs and the HLs based on the particulars. Like if they're high for you but low for us, then they'll be yellow. If they're high for us but low for you, then they'll be blue.
So Simon, we might not have to distinguish which ones are high for who. We could just do high, medium, and low, and the mediums are one where it's ambiguous as to who's it's a higher priority for.
Well, we went through the effort of prioritizing them already.
Right, and that informs which ones are the middle. We have limited colors. I'm trying to not have so much syntax on the.
That's why I actually am suggesting to use the colors that Adam has already set up.
So.
The other thing to note is that there is if you go to the Trello development board where you can see in public there, wish list items for improving Trello. There is a card there for better labeling and coloring. So please go and vote for that. I think it's probably already got several hundred votes, but the more, the quicker it will get implemented, presumably. You can see that by if you click on the I help thing near the top left, and then there's a link under updates for Trello development board, and then I think it's in the it's the third item in the left ideas column. So you can just hover over that card and press V to vote. Anyway, that's a tangent.
Yeah, we'll do that. All right. So is there any actual, it doesn't seem to be taking, but are there any actual planning items to be done? Are we moving anything around here? Is there anything to discuss?
Simon, what I would suggest we do is Dell can't really pull items off the backlog and move them into doing until we're in planning and we know who the resources are, actually picking up the cards. but we could make sure that the next things we want worked on and the priorities are set, and that's probably good enough.
That's what my intention was. Yeah.
Perfect.
So what are we what's the plan? Yeah.
That sounds okay. Is that the plan?
Yeah, I mean that's what my intention was. Like, what should be? In my opinion, this is my opinion. Again, not that that counts anything, but I think that we should probably work very hard on the. I can actually. Why am I even talking about this here? I actually have this updated as we speak. The priorities at the top. So the database model is probably the things that we should keep working hard at, because that's essentially a blocker for many things.
We're also trying to make sure our test coverage, that we make sure we've got test coverage for it.
2 weeks from today, we will actually have in 2 weeks from now, we'll actually have somebody else join the calls as well. And if we don't have anything specific to give him, then it might not be very useful. So I am under the impression that the database model is going to be a significantly large blocker or hindrance for making progress in this area.
Well, we're doing it just in time. So we build the database model based on the overall functionality that we're building for the networking or for the CMDB or things like that. So we don't build the data. We only build the database model for the subcomponents that we need. I suspect one of the high priorities for us is going to be to complete getting the UI back working with tests. And I think we have enough of the database models to complete that work. Although that really doesn't show up here as a specific item.
What?
Rewiring the UI to work against the new database models. It's part of the
minimal changes to CLI and UI.
Yeah, I didn't put that one in because it maybe I misinterpreted it as like it's a shipwreck requirement, but avoiding making big changes isn't really an action item, which is why I didn't put it in.
Right, but we have a list of items in the UI that need to be fixed, and so that
I see.
that so. Right now, the UI is only half coded.
Just to state for the record that the list that we were working off of for the ship ready is your list.
I understand.
Okay, so
yeah, and so, but the database model includes getting the UI working. I would put in the database model, finish porting UI to use database model. That's what's missing.
Okay, so that's an awesome suggestion, and yes, let's do that.
And along those lines, we will. There you go.
Is there like
the trick is Greg has a list, so just you can put a placeholder there. Import list from Greg of UI of broken UI screens or something like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's do that.
But yeah, it's a placeholder. And then there's an expectation that when we do that, we will do it with tests.
Right. And the test dimensions separately, actually.
Right. So we will exit with UI coverage. We already have UI coverage, but complete UI coverage.
Right, it's already in the list. Yes. Go on. What else is in your?
We're going to continue working on CMDB. Is probably the major focus area right now, and we might And I think even though we didn't identify it as ship ready, we're still got somebody who's working on the networking subsystem. In fact, well, the networking subsystem is in, but I think we still have somebody working on the networking. That might change based on our ship ready information, and we'll probably swing them over to the UI. Database model can be SQLite, is already there. We're already using the SQLite database, so I think you could classify that as done.
Actually, in the suggested changes, I was waiting for Adam to sign off on. I had made this a comment.
Oh, should we have a column for review? And only switch to done during the review meeting. That would be a.
Well, I think we wouldn't want stuff that's kind of done but not reviewed, clogging up the doing list necessarily. We could have a separate column for needs review. But then, I mean, it depends on what kind of review. Do you mean like code review and pull request merging, or?
I'm more thinking just agreement that we finished it. So one of the things that, since we're working independently, would be helpful is that in this meeting for part of review we actually say, hey, this feature's finished. We talk about what it does, and then we officially move it out of the. We officially accept it. It's an acceptance step.
Right. So, yeah, so we could have an extra column on the far right called accepted.
I like it.
Yeah, me too. A bit like Bugzilla's fixed versus closed.
Yeah, and then we could track defects the same way.
Yeah.
If you guys are okay with this, I'm going to go and delete that. Database model can use that.
Just move it to done. Because it's a ship-ready artifact. Hey, something's done. We can something.
All right, I just want to remind everybody there's about 9 minutes remaining on the call. So, is there anything else to be talked about other than the accepted column, which certainly sounds like a good idea?
Adam, do you have targets for the sprint?
Well, I guess not really. Haven't really thought about that yet, because we haven't had with Christoph away on holiday since the. Well, we had a team meeting this week, I guess, but that was. We didn't review this in the team meeting, so until we meet again next week, I think we won't be setting any concrete targets on this. So I'm just sort of chugging away and seeing how far I can get. But we can certainly, be a bit more proactive in the coming days about setting targets.
I suspect that if your team is coming in, you're going to spend time getting your tooling and process pieces working, your builds working. Actually, one of the things that you could take on as a sprint target would be getting the merge from the SUSE branch in.
Right, and then to that end, I've just literally just now published. Remember in previous meetings I mentioned that we have this script that I wrote for just comparing the SXAC SUSE with upstream, just doing like a Git cherry for each submodule and the main repository effectively. So there's a Trello card for improving that to add blacklisting ability so that we can use that to as our metric for that task. So that tool is now public, and in fact it most likely makes sense to integrate that into the dev tool, because that's that sort of comparing downstream with upstream is something that should be runnable on any set of repositories, not just our ones. And in fact, the code already allows you to specify arbitrary branches to compare. So yeah, that is definitely something that we need to, that's definitely a high priority for us, and it probably does make sense to do that earlier rather than later. Sorry. It does make sense to do that earlier rather than later to minimize, merge conflicts. So, yeah.
So it sounds like we need to move it up then, right?
Yeah. I'll also, I can get, more of our team involved on that because, obviously it was, a lot of people on the team have contributed those patches, which haven't made it upstream yet. So it makes sense for the people who wrote them to push them to some extent.
Just based on our team's experience, I would suspect that getting up to speed on the unit RSpec, chef spec, and BDD tests are in themselves a couple days effort.
Right.
And let us know, because we would be happy to do some training to help shorten your learning curve on it. Our team would appreciate it, even though they've been starting to master it. I think they'd love a re-up. So we can swing a special purpose training session on what the test systems look like and how they interact.
Yeah. Okay. I know that several of our team already have experience with things like RSpec. Actually, well, I'm kind of guessing that, to be honest. I know I do, and I'm just saying that based on the fact that we have a reasonable amount of Ruby experience on the team. But having said that, they could be more used to the test unit side of things or whatever. I don't know.
Some of it's just, this is where, this is what the tests look like, this is what coverage we've got, this is where we've been focused. And there's some things that we're doing because of the queuing, and we're trying to make tests for the back-end magic in the queue based on our conversations about the defects and locking and things like that. So Greg wrote a lot of tests around lock testing.
Right.
Stuff like that. Yeah, we have put a significant amount of effort into testing stuff that we know is problematic. So it's worth taking time to get up to speed and discuss.
Absolutely, yeah. I definitely feel testing has to be at the heart of everything we do, and it's the only, the fact that I hear you guys prioritizing that is the sort of main thing that gives me confidence that we can actually, we actually have a chance of releasing this on the kind of timescales we're thinking about. I think without that priority on testing, we'd be totally screwed.
I very much appreciate that comment. I can't tell you how much. That's good. Yes. Thank you. I agree. It's not always an easy battle to pay for testing it.
Right, I know. I've fought that battle one too many times already in previous lives. I just thought of something, which is that we do have 3 cards currently marked as needing clarification, so it might be just quickly worth checking those and seeing if we can, or at least 2 of them.
Which one?
So the 2 on the top left.
These 2?
Did we just lose Rob?
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay. I heard somebody dial off.
I heard a beep in too. It's not on my bridge.
Okay, cool. Yeah, in fact, if on the Trello, there's some really, I don't know how well you know Trello, so you maybe already know this, but for example, you can press F and then just click on the need clarification on the right-hand side.
Cool. I had no idea.
So yeah, you press like
Sorry, I lost you there. What? Oh, there we go.
Yeah, there we go. And then you just click on these, yeah. And then, so you can set up filters like that, and then once, if you want to clear them, you just press X.
Okay. X.
And if you press question mark, you'll get a list of other, help items and shortcuts and stuff, which is kind of useful. So yeah, so these, we probably, I don't know whether we can clarify, well, maybe just the top two. I'm not sure about the third one. But so my understanding is the new Git code, we just need a new organization. Is that right?
So I actually recently spoke to Victor about this, and let me know. I mean, we can obviously change this, but he's under the impression that this, whatever we want to go in, he's under the impression whatever is, let's see, actually. Yeah, so actually, did you see his comment here? He's under the impression that.
Yeah, but then Greg replied, pointing out we do need it. Well, kind of, it would be nice-ish.
No problem. So we'll just set it up then, right? We'll just Crowbar with a 0 is available, I think.
I mean, Crowbar -core or -os for open source, or like for like.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yep, Crowbar core, Crowbar OS. Actually, I like Crowbar OS.
I mean, yeah, the only thing about OS is that it's, maybe a slightly ambiguous thing.
Crowbar, Crowbar core. Actually, Crowbar core.
Does that sound good, Rob? Okay. I mean,
that means you don't feel strongly one way or another, or?
I like where you guys are going. I'm starting to get pulled into my next meeting, so.
Okay.
Common. No.
Yeah, I mean, we have the Dell Crowbar account, but Simon's working on getting Crowbar, which would be awesome.
Right. Unfortunately, I haven't heard back from the guy in the last 2 days, so I can make another attempt. He's Japanese, but I'll continue trying. I actually have a Japanese.
Let's.
Yeah. Later.
I think this is helpful, but not urgent. Since Dell Crowbar, the sister repos aren't going to go away if we add a parent. So, we have a little bit of time to make this work, and then we can use Crowbar as a backup. CR0 WBAR.
Okay. Yeah, let's just put that on hold until, because I mean, if we manage to get hold of the existing Crowbar one, then that would be better, and it saves us moving stuff around at that point. So we can just drop those cards down the list. I just wanted to sort of eliminate that clarification stuff to like understand.
It probably doesn't need clarification at this point. It's in progress.
Yeah, and I think those two cards are really the same card, aren't they? They should be merged into one.
What did you say, Crowbar? What was your suggestion?
I just don't think it needs clarification. Right? Adam's treating that like a block.
Yeah, I'll remove the needs clarification. I'll move it to needs progress. But what was your last suggestion that you had in terms of repository naming?
Oh, I was saying we can use CR0 WBAR.
Oh, yeah.
Because I own the .com on that.
All right.
I'd rather have Crowbar, but I have, if we want alignment.
Yeah. And so I think I'll ditch I'll archive the second card and just merge the contents with the first one, and I'll rewrite it. It was just one item, and when I imported this from, I think it was Greg's to-do list, he just wrote it in terms of memberships, and he said, add SUSE to Crowbar core membership, but I guess he meant organization, and he meant add individual SUSE members rather than the SUSE organization, because I don't think you can have one organization as a member of another on Git. But Yeah, I'll sort that out. That's no problem. And the third one just needs clarification with Victor, just to go into the details of that. But I'll take care of that independently. We don't need to discuss that now.
Anything else? Well, this part into the doing part that we have there right now, or not so much? I think this is actually best. Is that what you said, Adam?
Sorry, you lost me. What was the question?
Did you say you were going to take this second needs clarification?
Yeah.
And move it into the other one?
Yeah.
Okay. Sure, yeah. That would probably be a Victor task then? Is that about right?
Well, when you say the second one, one of those three cards has just vanished. I don't know what happened to it, but I was.
Oh, it's because the spreadsheet has been updated because I removed the clarification task. That's all.
Yeah, but I still don't see it when I clear the filter.
Right here.
Oh, it's under doing now. Okay. Yeah, don't worry.
Did we not say we were moving this to doing?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. I'll just merge those two cards. Don't worry. I'll take care of it.
Okay. Cool. Well, we are over time, so is there anything else that we need to resolve? Rob has already signed off, and he's off on to.
I'm here, but I think we've made a
No,
lot of
I
progress.
know. Alan's been through things. So.
For a first meeting using a brand new tool, I think we've made a lot. We're being pretty efficient.
Yeah, it's a good tool.
All right. Well, I'm calling it then, right? So again, Adam, just let us know what you're thinking in terms of the Wednesday time frame, and